Hello everyone, welcome to Mahr's May Product of the Month webinar. This month it's the MarCator 1086R and the family of similar digital indicators. Hello, I'm George Schutz. I'm your presenter, Director of Precision Gauges in Providence, Rhode Island. And as usual, if you have any questions during the presentation, use the chat feature and I will respond to your questions after the webinar by email. It's good to have you all here today. Today we're going to learn about the MarCator 1086R and what it is, some of its features, why we need it. We'll go over some technical data, talk a little bit about its data collection features, look at some applications, and look at the value of being product of the month. So as you know, Mahr offers a full suite of hand tools, whether they be digital calipers or depth gauges, digital indicators, and digital micrometers. And just looking at this product line, you can see that they're modern looking, they are feature packed, they're high quality and meant to be used on the shop floor in some of the, the typical and even the harshest applications at the point of manufacture. The prices are at lower or competitive, very competitive to our major competitors. And I know that we are the leader in low cost and transparent wireless data transfer. That's because we offer free MarCom software and a very low cost receiver for the wireless product line. So here's a summary of the complete line of hand tools, and you can see that it is a full family with 68 versions of calipers and 25 or so depth gauges, a full family of digital indicators, and numerous digital micrometers, both wired and wireless products. But today we're going to be focusing on our digital indicators, specifically the 1086R. And as you can see here, there's 24 digital indicator versions of that, with 9 being integrated wireless. We have some high resolution versions, and we also have in the 1086 line and 1087 line some bore gauges. But today's focus is on the 1086. Now, taking a little deeper dive into the family line, here's what the whole range of 1086 products looks like, and this is a little bit too full to take a look at together, so I'm going to break this up a little bit, and we'll start out with the basic ones, the basic 1086R. These all have every indicator has wired output. Our MarConnect version, where you can select the type of output that you want by selecting the cable, and we'll look a little bit deeper at that in a moment. They all have the standard same basic functions, the referencing, tolerances, ability to lock out keys, an absolute mode, and these versions are an IP42 rated for shop use. The difference between these two versions of the 1086R is one is a selectable resolution of only 5/10 or 10 microns in geometric, while the second version offers 5 selectable ranges going from 5/10 down to 20 millionths. So this is a great feature for when you want to take a digital indicator and apply it to different tolerance groups or different types of gauges over time. Now you can match up the performance of the indicator to the performance of the gauge. Both of these products come in 4 measuring ranges of a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 2 or 4 inch versions. So for a bench stand that you need long range and good resolution, a 4-inch version is a pretty universal measuring instrument for those types of applications. The next part of this family is the 1086RI. This is the one that has, of course, the wired MarConnect, but it also was the first digital indicator with integrated wireless connection. So the wireless is built in. There's no expensive transmitter to add on, and sometimes those transmitters can cost more than the measuring instrument itself. This has the same basic features, the reference, tolerances, etc. And again, there's 2 versions, one with a fixed resolution of 5/10 or a 10 micron, or the other with the selectable resolutions. There's the 2 versions. The wireless version does come in all 4 measuring ranges from a 1/2 inch to 4 inches, whereas the fixed resolution version only comes in a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Then we have the other 2 parts of this family. It's the 1086R, the WR, which is the wet-proof version or the waterproof version. Again, MarConnect and MarConnect and Integrated Wireless, same features. These are selectable ranges, all of them, and they're both in the 1/2 inch or 1 inch measuring range. And you can see the difference here, that there's a boot on the spindle, and the top end of the indicator is a sealed cap rather than a moving cap, so the product is more resistant to splashing and water input and so forth. Then we have the latest addition to the family, which is the 1086R HR. This is our high resolution version of the 1086. It only comes in a wired version. The big difference here is it's selectable, but this goes down to a 10 micro-inch resolution. So, basically we're starting to get close to the performance of a bench amplifier here. So we have 6 selectable resolutions for use. And this version comes in the 1/2 inch or 1 inch version. So as we talked about in previous webinars, this type of indicator, the 1086R HR, is great for products like the SM60, which is a high precision length measuring instrument. And we'll see that again a little later on. So let's take a look at some of the key features of the 1086 as we step through them. The first is the large clear display. And as you look at the whole product of the line of Mahr, whether it be the 16 ER calipers or the 40 EWR micrometers or the 1086 digital indicators, they all have a nice large clear display, which is really unique in the industry. So it's 11 millimeter high digits, plus we have 6 dedicated buttons that allow easy access for specific functions. So with this product, you don't have to go into a menu necessarily to make some of the basic set of functions like entering the tolerances or switching from inch to metric, turning the product on or off, entering a preset, or zeroing. These can be done by the 6 key presses that are on the front of the unit. The nice thing about the 1086 is the ability to set tolerances. And this is done again by one key press in the front where you can enter those values in. And really this has 2 operating modes. The first one up here allows you to select to have both the numerical value that you're measuring, like 9.78 millimeters, but you also have the under and over or good symbols for your tolerance conditions. So you can see there's a great big triangle pointing to the left, means it's under tolerance. The 0 means that you're within the tolerance range, and the arrow pointing to the right means you're over that tolerance. So this is a good indication for seeing the size, plus knowing whether that part is good or bad as compared to the tolerance. Or if you want a more basic operation, something that all the operator needs to know is whether it's good or bad, you can have it without the value being displayed. So you can show the symbol for out of tolerance on the negative side, out of tolerance on the plus side, and the big square or 0 means that it's within tolerance. So this is a this is a foolproof way for a user to understand whether that reading is in or out of tolerance or not. So this is a go, no-go mode, or you can have the value shown with the tolerance indication. I said the splash-proof version is a part of the product line. This is a IP54 version as opposed to the 42 for the rest of the product line. Again, this has the sealed cap on the top, the rubber boot on the bottom here, rubber bellows to help seal it, and the battery compartment is also sealed on this product. So, of course, it's not meant to be submerged into water, but it's dust protected, and it's protected against water jets in any direction. So if you have a little tougher environment, the W model is the one that you want to take a look at. Another important feature of the product is the rotating bezel that allows for easy viewing. So, like we mentioned before, the SM60 is a high-performance outside diameter gauge. Here we have a 1086 HR, which is the high-resolution version, and you can see the dial is, or the face is rotated for the best viewing angle. We also make products where the indicator might be mounted upside down with the contact pointing up. And in this case, you would want to rotate the dial so that it's the opposite what its normal position is, again, to give the user easier viewing of the reading of the indicator. So it's a nice feature to have, and it works well. We also have a zero force 1086. You know, there are standards out there for measuring compressible materials, and those standards are done so that if we're measuring the materials here in Providence and we have a factory across the country or across the world, everybody wants to measure that product the same way. So standards are out there that define the diameter of the measuring anvil, a dead weight load, without a spring in the indicator, so that we're always having the same gauging force on the product. And this is where the zero force 1086 comes into play. This version is a springless version, so you don't have the spring in there. All you have is the weight of the plunger itself. And on top of that, you would add a dead load weight to make your measurement. So now we have a dead load weight per the standard. We can choose the measuring anvil sizes that we want. And now we have a gauge that's per specification for measuring compressible materials. Again, this is a unique indicator feature. Not everybody needs it, but for the parts of the industry that have the requirements, this is a great way of producing not only a gauge that functions, but also allows you to start collecting data of that compressible material. So that's an important feature to have. We also have the ability to put a multiplier into the product. So some products that use a V reference, or they might have some type of setup where there is a offset contact going through a lever and a ratio, there might be a multiplier that's required for that gauging fixture. So the The 1086 allows for putting a multiplier of 1.5 times the value or times 0.5, for example, so that if you have a V or you have some type of ratio that's required, the 1086 can make up for that. And you can also, decide I want to use the ratio. If you want to do some other test, you could put it into the absolute mode, and it would begin its deviation from zero operation, but not forget the preset value or the reference that you've had previously. So this is, again, the ability to use the multiplier when needed for the specific gauging application. Another key feature is the lock function. The lock function prevents operators from accidentally pressing keys that may change the measurement results. We have on the front, we have the ability to set 0 anytime, and sometimes users will accidentally press the 0 button in the act of making a measurement. And of course, you may not realize that you've done that, and now you have a little bit of an offset in all your readings, which could or could not cause some bad parts from being accepted as being good. So what we can do is we can lock out certain functions. If you want the 0 to be locked out, or the preset, or the absolute value mode, for example, you can select what keys you want to have locked out. And when you do that, when you have the lock function on, there's a little symbol on the dial that shows it's in the lock mode and it's being prevented from being those keys from being used. So again, this is a nice feature to have for if you want to take the extra step to make sure that buttons are not pressed accidentally. One of the key features of the 1086 is MarConnect, and that's a feature that runs across the whole Mahr product line, where basically every 1086 has a connector on the top for the Mahr standard connector, and depending on the other end of that cable, you can choose one of 3 different output formats. One is a USB format, this is a very inexpensive way to put multiple gauges into a computer. So you don't need an expensive special RS-232 multiplexer box or something set up. USB hubs are very inexpensive, and if you're looking to create a wireless network with lots of indicators, the USB format is a way to get that information into a PC. We also have a digimatic output. So if you want to use the competitive products data collection system, you can use a digimatic output, and we'll plug in, and you'll be able to collect data and collect your measurements using a Mahr digital indicator. We also have our Mahr Opto RS-232 format, which is a direct connection to a COM port on a PC or an RS-232 to a USB converter cable, and this allows you to take that input and just another format for maybe if you're substituting some previous products with a new 1086. This is the cable to use to do that. So again, one connection on the top of the product. The cable selects what type of output we're going to be using. And then again, probably the most important feature of the 1086 is our integrated wireless capability. Like I mentioned previously, we were the first digital indicator with integrated wireless transmitter. It's built in, it's reliable, it uses the same battery as the power. We have a long battery life with the digital indicators, and really the measurement becomes transparent to the operator. There's no add-on modules to plug in, and very often those add-on modules can be more than the price of a digital indicator. The send data becomes part of the normal measuring process. There's no external box to be pressing buttons on. And because we're using a single battery, you don't have to worry about changing two batteries in the product. There's one battery, and the 1086 has a very long battery life. So it's a much more lower cost system than competitive add-on products. So basically, all you need to put together for your Mahr Integrated Wireless Personal Network is a digital indicator, a receiver, and free MarCom software. So this is a very low cost way of starting data collection. Now, why is data collection important? Why the Mahr data collection process? Well, collecting data is starting to become one of the fastest growing areas, because people are starting to understand the importance of data collection, whether it be for documenting the process or finding out what's going on with the process and making steps to make that process better, which improves the process itself and lowers the cost of manufacturing. And you can also use for gauge tracking. It's a way of we're starting to apply the serial number or identification as part of the setup of the measuring instrument. So we're starting to put the identification number internal to the product so that we can assign a number to know that this is the product that made the measurement, which reported this value at this time and this date. With the 1086, MarCom will assign a part number or ID number to the indicator and record that value. With our future products, that identification number will be part of the data transfer if you want to use that. So wireless devices offer more measuring convenience. You don't have all the cable clutter and special multiplexer boxes that you had previously. We're offering, with our integrated wireless capabilities, single battery. There's no add-on modules. There's no expensive receiver or custom software that you have to invest in. So really now, the data collection is really a transparent measuring operation to the user. And I said that we provide MarCom Professional, our MarConnect software package. It's free. You can download it from the Mahr website. It has some pretty powerful features. It allows us taking all our integrated wireless product, our wired product, and for some of our older products, our add-on modules, and you can take that information and put it into existing software SPC packages. It can go into Microsoft Office Excel, any Windows software platform, or we have the ability to send it to third-party software packages. So there's lots of ways of collecting the information from our products. And just to keep you informed, we've added some new features to MarCom, where we can put the identification number of the instrument as part of the data. And we can now have the ability to transmit data, again, with MarCom in numerous ways, with the data send key on the front of the unit, with a foot switch, through keyboard control on the PC, or we can make this a timer function. Lots of ways to collect data with MarCom. And this is the information that we're talking about, where we can assign a part number to the gauge and also a serial number to the gauge, and that becomes part of the data collection process. So now that we can tie everything together, we know when the measurement was made, which gauge made it, and what the values are. So again, it's a great benefit to the user. It really ties the whole SPC package together because it's a better way of documenting the measurement results. And you have the ability to turn those features on or off. You can see that you can ask for the data coming through to include the description, the serial number, the part number, the date, and the time, all part of the measuring process can be put into your Excel data. Another feature that we've added to MarCom, which is a feature a lot of customers asked for, was the ability to erase the last data. Previously everything had to be collected, and you might have to go back to into your Excel file to erase the last data. But this is a standard feature now. There's now a return button on the data entry screen that you can erase that last value. So again, a little more features in MarCom. We continue to improve this free product. Now you may ask, where can we use a 1086R or a 1086RI in its applications? Well, there's lots of places. Every place that you might have had a dial or digital indicator being used previously, I think the 1086 might be a great substitute for that. Whether it be an OD gauge, bench gauge, high resolution application like our SM60, our dead load weight gauges for measuring compressible materials, or other types of thickness gauges. Our inside diameter bore gauges are great. They offer the full range with the indicator and the high resolution. Depth gauges, thickness gauges. Here's the indicator on a 4-inch one or a 2-inch one on a bench stand, which makes a great universal measuring system. Or you can use it as a comparative type gauge on a bench stand. It's a great, with its high resolution, preset values for using it in plug gauging like our Dimentron plugs. Or the output can be used with an 817 CLM height gauge, and here it's being used as part of the ability to do perpendicularity on a part. So we tie the 1086 through the cable into the readout, and now we can program and set up a perpendicularity check with the 817 height gauge. Lots of versatilities, lots of great ways to use a 1086 indicator. And what makes it even more special is that it's in May's product of the month, our special offer. This is piggybacking on to our Marlights promotional flyer, which is out this month. So we have a number of the product in the promotion at special pricing, both the wired and the wireless version. There's also high resolution versions available in Marlights. And if you buy any one of those through the product of the month, you'll get a free mug as part of the promotion. So just more value, making the 1086 more special than it already is. I just pointed out in the Marlights promotional flyer, there's a number of different products available of the 1086. You can also buy if you want the wired version, get the cable at a special price, or the iStick is also on a promotional price. So you can put together your own personal data collection system at a very good promotional price. So just in summary about some of the things that I've talked about today, we looked at and compared the whole family of 1086 products, all the features that are built into the 1086 families. We looked at the accessories like the cables and the wireless capabilities. We looked at some of the applications, whether it be bench or portable gauges for thickness or perpendicularity, diameter, etc. We talked about its integrated wireless capability and how with the integrated wireless, the data collection is transparent to the operator and easy to use. So we think it's the right choice for inspection at the point of manufacture, and because it's Mahr's product of the month, it's a really super value. So why Mahr? We have a broad range of products for industrial metrology. We have the application competence here to support you, whether it's at the factory here in Providence or with our local support staff throughout the country. We have a great wireless and innovative hand tool portfolio to help you reach the requirements of Industry 4.0. Our promotional prices with high quality really give you the best value of some of the metrology equipment out there. So after the webinar today, we're going to give you a link to a recording of this webinar, and again, we'll follow up with a PDF of the product of the month data sheet. So thank you for attending today's webinar. It's been great having you here today, and I hope you learned a little bit something about the May product of the month, the 1086R digital indicator. Thanks again.